I don't want to come off negative. And I think if you say anything critical sometimes about players on the Raiders, you come off as negative, especially when it's the quarterback. Especially when we're in the type of situation that we're in. Because right now, you're just grasping at straws at this quarterback room. I mean, you've got fucking Jimmy G, Hoyer, and the Super Trooper. You're grasping at fucking straws. This is the worst quarterback depth chart that has been put together in silver and black in a long fucking time. It just is. And I've gotten to the point where I honestly feel sorry for Aiden O'Connell. I really do. The kid was, I mean, he's above his talent level, even being where he's at. He was not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be a kid at the end of your bench who is going to get a chance to learn the system, how to be an NFL quarterback, who is going to get a chance to come up, and all of a sudden, he's thrust into this absolute shitstorm where you're changing quarterbacks, you're trying to simplify systems to him, you know, regimes are changing, people are being fired, people are moving out, he's been handed the job, and he wasn't even supposed to be nothing but a kid at the end of the bench. And I think he's done well with what he's been thrust into. But I think this last week just shows you. And no, I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. But I'm comparing him to the skill sets that you can see Patrick Mahomes using out there in the game. Mahomes plays half the fucking game outside of the pocket. He's constantly moving. His line is not that fucking spectacular. His offensive line is not all that in a fucking bag of chips. He is under pressure a lot. He has to move. He has to be dynamic. This kid doesn't leave the pocket. He doesn't leave the pocket. He's very flat-footed. He's very concrete-footed. He's a pocket passer. But he's got certain quirks about his release. He's got certain... He just doesn't have all of the tools. Now, yes, some of these things you can develop over time in the NFL. Some of these things, if you are born with that tool in your toolbox, you just never fucking have it. I think Aiden O'Connell is a good quarterback. I think he has proven, I think, that he can be a solid backup quarterback in this league. To me, unless he goes out there and just really shows something above what he's already done, you've got to show something above what you've done at this point. We've seen you can go out there and maybe throw 200 yards and a touchdown and an interception, or maybe throw 225 and Josh goes for 100, 125, and you throw no touchdowns, no interceptions, and the team wins. We've seen those games, but neither one of no quarterback, none of these guys have stellar. Jimmy's 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Aiden's 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Hoyer 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, Jimmy and Aiden's stats are very similar, really, if you look at them. Attempts, they both had within 10 attempts of each other for the season. Jimmy's a little better in completion percentage. They're about almost identical in yards. Yards per game, they're very identical. Really, their quarterback interception ratio is about the same. Jimmy's got a couple more of each, couple more touchdowns, but he's got a couple more picks too. What you've seen last game was he just doesn't have the tools. That he just doesn't have the tools. To be more than, I think, like a middle-of-the-road quarterback at best in the National Football League. And that's honestly how I feel about him. I'm hoping you can still be successful this season with that. That's the thing, is it's not necessarily the death of the team. You just have to understand what you have at quarterback. Because this is what you have for 2023. Aiden's it. He's it. He's what you got. You got to have a strong running game. Josh has got to put you up around a century mark every game. You got to have strong defense around him. You've got to have turnovers. You got to get the ball back. You got to have a short field. Aiden is not the type of quarterback, at least at this point in his career, and I think he's proven that at this point in his career, he's not going out throwing 300, 350 yards and 3-4 touchdowns. He hasn't done it yet, and he's not that type of quarterback.